Hey, hi, hello, friends. Happy Sunday and welcome to Sunday Brunch. Of course, the staple here on Love Wrestling, tuning in on Twitch live at 1 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. And it's a full house today. I'm not even going to get the opportunity to ramble as much as I normally do because we've got a ton of the best and brightest in professional wrestling joining us today. Wherever you may be tuned in, however, feel free to throw your comments in the comments section, obviously, because we want to get your thoughts on everything and anything professional wrestling this week that you want to chat about. But before we get to that, couple of things we want to shout out real quick. Of course, our sponsors at RK Athletics being first and foremost. If you guys are online, which you are if you're watching this video, obviously, make sure you give them a follow on social media at RK Athletics 1 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You got a lot of great opportunities to take advantage of some online physical fitness advice. And if you're in Edmonton, you got the opportunity to get some actual one-on-one personal training. Yeah, lots of people. Good to see you in the comments, however, Ed. It's never a bad problem when we've got lots of great individuals on screen. And we're going to start with the one on my right-hand side. Astrid, it is good to see you, friend. Welcome. I think this is the first time you've been on Sunday Brunch. Maggie, there are so many of us, and it is wonderful to see you, friend. How are you? Welcome. I hope you're doing well. And Lucas, of course, dang no Cody. Unfortunately, Cody unavailable. However, you're going to be able to see him every Friday chatting some New Japan G1 Climax. We're going to get to what you can expect from Love Wrestling in a bit, though. We don't need to kick off talking about ourselves outside of asking everybody how they're doing. And Astrid, I was in the midst of asking you how you're doing on, well, I guess this Sunday afternoon where you are, if my math's correct.
Yeah. 1 p.m. over here. No, glad to be here for 7 with the Sunday Brunch, so I'm really excited too.
Parrish, good to see you as well, friend. How are you doing? Happy football Sunday. I'm absolutely shocked, and I'm kind of sad that, like, of all the people we've got here, Pluggo didn't hop on because I beat him in week 1 of fantasy football last week.
I think everybody beat Pluggo in fantasy football.
Good
But
to
I
see you,
mean,
though, friend.
he's a Browns fan. He's used to getting losses, right? So I mean, it is.
I
what
got
it
a
is.
lot of
Great-
love for the Browns. I
Great
got a
to
lot of
see
love for the
everyone,
Browns.
and great to see everyone made it from who was on last night's blown off stream. That was a glorified shit show.
That was a lot of fun last night.
Alex, good to see you as well, despite the fact that in the pre-stream you were making fun of my haircut. I'm not going to let that go. But how you doing, friend?
It's good to see everybody today. We're flying over Sunday brunch. Gonna have a good day, and
We got Alex or Triple H here.
oh no, it's talk like a pilot day, right?
I'm frustrated with you. I'm
It's
very.
pilot day, right? That's what it is, right?
I'm frustrated. I'm sad. I'm upset.
Remove him.
Pilot reference has to do with the dark side of the ring.
Zach, I'm going to move over to your end of things to not only correct Alex but ask you how you're doing.
Why am I correcting Alex? Sorry.
Let's talk like a pirate day, and you're the one who brought it up, so I thought that you would
True.
remember.
Oh
Come
yeah, I
on,
remember.
man.
Yeah, but
I threw you the bit, and it just
Yeah, but Alex isn't wrong here. Like he's right. It's Pirate Day. I will not be partaking because my voice. I already did damage to my voice on last night's blowing off stream. But it's good to be here. It's one of the last warmish days, so it's going to be one of the last times I'm enjoying Sunday brunch on my humble little balcony, and I'm glad to be brunching with y'alls.
Good to see you as well, Big Bad Bobby Munson. How you doing, friend? Welcome back. How are things over on the Saskatchewan side?
Oh, it's warm and sunny in Saskatchewan, doing good, and
It's always sunny in Saskatchewan.
Oh, of course, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Especially when we got a bright light like Brock Lesnar living around here too. So, it's going great, and we had our PPW training yesterday morning, so that was really good to see some young hopefuls out, and hopefully get back to some in-ring action soon enough.
Goose, how you doing? How you feeling? How are things on your end? I know that I think the last time I saw you was at an RCW show, and there was a bit of an incident there. How are you feeling since then?
Well, today I feel okay. There was like 3 or 4 days where I had a pretty gnarly headache. I spent 10 hours in the hospital that night. I lost some blood. I got a lot of stitches, 2 layers. Yeah, so that was a tough night. But
Well,
I'm happy to be here today.
It is just more evidence that Canadian geese are not to be effed with.
Well, I think the evidence of that is yet to come.
Bada boom.
So-
You guys can see that at every real Canadian wrestling show, whether it be in Calgary or Edmonton. But again, we're going to promote ourselves in a little bit. Lawrence, how you doing, friend?
I am great. A little tired. Learned the lesson that at 31 years old and not doing any exercise before, playing 6 hours of softball, not the greatest idea.
Oh, tough.
My body rapidly broke down by
man.
the 3rd game.
You know,
I'm on one
every
leg.
so often, I feel like you can relate to this as well, and I'm sure others can, is like every so often I'll get the confidence to be like, yeah, I can run a 10K.
Yeah.
I can't run a 10K. And then hopping back in and out. We're going to try it again here. The Wordsmith. Good to see you, friend. How are you doing? And I wanted to commend you personally on a very good show yesterday in Rest Hole.
Yeah, it's still kind of recovering from that because if you watched it, you know why I'm kind of dealing with. We went a little deeper than I expected, but I'm happy we did, and I hope it was good for everybody else. I won't say it was perfect for everyone involved, but yeah, mental health is a good thing to keep in mind, and it's a good thing to talk about. And I'm actually glad we had a little bit of a precursor with Goose, and I hope everything's good for you, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's nothing to fuck around with.
You're smiling and laughing here. I'm just thinking this is a story of a man named Brady.
Oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. That's too easy.
Well played. Very, very well played. I also need to throw this one up here before we get into the wrestling chat for today. I agree. Maggie, you're going to give me diabetes. You're so sweet. My hair is lovely, Alex.
Yeah,
and there
Penny.
you go. There you go. I got faith in Maggie. Yes, it is, Dara. Good morning. Good to see you, friend. Is it the Love Wrestling Brunch? Of course, it is the Love Wrestling Brunch, where we chat all things, of course, that we love in professional wrestling. And we want to kick it off today with something more out of unfortunate circumstances. Obviously, I think I can speak for everybody here in that we're 9 for 9 and that Samoa Joe is the man, and we would have loved to see him carry that NXT championship a little bit longer. But out of unfortunate circumstances, Tommaso Ciampa and Goldie reunite. It's something that I'm very happy about personally, but maybe not the direction I expected. When you hear like NXT 2.0, you know, it's not a bad thing by any means, but you had 3 guys in there who were very much part of the new generation of NXT, and then Tommaso Ciampa, who's been there for about 4 or 5 years at this point. So, Astrid, like I picked on you first to ask how you're doing, but it's your first Sunday brunch, so I'm going to turn to you first. Your thoughts on the NXT championship situation? Were you surprised? Are you excited? Is there maybe someone else you saw as a champion? Is there someone you maybe want to see step up to Tommaso Ciampa first?
I honestly thought that we were going to go the route with LA Knight with his momentum going up to it. I was not expecting Ciampa to win at all. So it definitely surprised me what he won. I do want to see Carmelo Hayes step up to it already just because I like his momentum. I love the crowd, how they react to him, even with his sort of heel turn. I like how they support him. And I love his charisma and the way he wrestles already. So I would like to see him go up to it already.
That's a very, very good call. Not really, honestly, somebody that I would have thought of, at least right off the bat. Maggie hopping in. I'm going to need Ciampa to change his theme to Hey Daddy by Korn. Yeah, I don't disagree. One bit. Who am I going to move to next? Bobby. I'm picking on you next.
Okay. Then.
Yeah, I'm picking on you next, Big Bad Bobby. What are your thoughts on the NXT title situation?
I like it. Okay. Ciampa is a very reliable person. We know that apparently his intent is to stick with NXT. So in the interim, to get it onto somebody who's reliable and already there, Ciampa is a very reliable guy to put the title on. It's a great decision by them. And this can lead to them then building those feuds and stuff like that for an LA Knight or a Carmelo Hayes, as Astrid pointed out as well too, and build the storyline so that when they do finally topple Ciampa, it'll have the meaning behind it that it needs to have in order to build them as the next generation's NXT champion.
Love it, man. Alex, I'm going to turn to you with a specific question. When does Braun Breaker capture the NXT championship?
Oh, you stole my answer. What the hell? This is, you know what? This is absolute bull beat.
You know what? I'm
being nice this morning.
I'm going to defer to Wordsmith on this question. Wordsmith, what do you think?
You know, there's a 50-50 chance in every fight. But with this guy's real last name, that is, just give the guy the title. He's already earned it.
Third chance, yeah.
He's got 155, whatever the math is. It's early. I had a rough night. Just give him the title. He's Vince McMahon's perfect thing. He's a big, sweaty man, and that's what NXT is going to be. Give him the title.
The thing that I don't understand, and
you don't need to understand it. Just give him it.
No, I don't. I don't understand why they would change his name to Braun Breaker outside of it being not my favorite name, to be courteous. Like Rex Steiner,
terrible,
great name. The guy comes
can
out
and I just interject for a second?
Okay.
Have you heard what Scott Steiner has said about the company in the last? Don't really think they want that last name on screen.
That's a very fair point. That's a very fair point. Have you just and I mean this again in a very kind way, have you just heard Scott Steiner talk?
I just actually watched one of his newest promos, and it's the best, worst thing that no one else can get away with. So,
Wordsmith, I'm sure you've watched, and just to sidetrack here for a second, Zach, it buys you a little time because I'm going to pick on you next as far as the NXT title goes. But I'm certain you've watched at Wordsmith the TNA Main Event Mafia pay-per-view where Scott Steiner's the ring announcer.
There's certain shows that are certain shows that are so bad they're good, and that is just
bad.
Oh, you should model your ring announcing style after him, Spencer.
You should.
I absolutely will. You know what? And if I commentate, I will absolutely take from the same pay-per-view where Booker T was commentating while he's in the ring, kicking the hell out of everybody. Oh, he's landing up for the only other moment. Oh, there he is. He's landing up for the big pump kick. Oh,
that is the only other moment that beats down Scotty on the happened again. That is the only moment that actually beats Scott Steiner doing ring announcing is Booker T narrating his own beatdowns that are just like,
oh, Booker T's getting up from the announce table.
It's just amazing.
All right, sorry to bring it back here, and I'll hop to the comments again, Zach, in the interest of buying you a little bit of time here, my friend. And I do agree, because I was definitely hesitant. I thought it was a very good first episode. The new NXT is being built like NXT when it first hit the network. This is a great new direction. I think it's a good first step in the right direction. I will always throw up a comment involving Steiner math 100% of the time, unless it's like followed by something offensive. 133 and a third. If we can ever get like a Scott Steiner hockey jersey or basketball jersey with that number on the back, like just invoice me for it, buy it, please. Consider that one 100%, 100% true. But I would like Rex Steiner. I also would as well, Dara. And then Ed making a good point as well, because it's not Scott's son, it's Rick's son. They might not have a good relationship with Rick. Honestly, just can't speak to it. But Zach, I think I bought you enough time. Not that I really need to. Big Daddy Tommaso with an NXT championship. I know brings smiles to faces and high fives to our hands. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I really agree with what Bobby said. I think Ciampa's a great pick to help usher in that next generation of NXT talent, especially being like the elder statesman of NXT, so to speak. If I can offer my own creative flair to it, though, I like, I haven't watched NXT in a while, but I like to think that I understand Ciampa. And I think it would be very cool if, now that he's reunited with Goldie, he starts getting a little more corrupted, so to speak, and we start seeing Ciampa of 2018 rear in his ugly head and put over a hot young babyface like Braun Breaker might be a good choice.
I know if hot young,
this side so much like we've got the We Sing for Hit Row. We pop for Braun Breaker. We are firmly pro Braun Breaker on this site. Until further notice, I'll update anybody else if
he needs to come out in
happens.
chainmail. There, I said it. Once that happens, that's a future world champion right there.
The only reason I say no is because Jordan Grace has done a real great job of taking that mantle up.
And you know what? I'll do you one better. I think she's done a fantastic job, but so is Little Petey Pump, because Maple Leaf Muscle made it work.
We're going to bring her in. I'll bring up every time. Petey Pump, Petey Williams, good Canadian boy. Officially only has ever passed the Canadian Destroyer onto Chelsea Green. And I'll close her with that. Goose, I'm going to move it to you. What are your thoughts on the NXT Championship situation? Anybody you got your eye on after the relaunch of NXT, or NXT 2.0 as they're calling it? It's just weird to me they don't have 2.0 as a part of NXT 2.0.
Yeah,
sorry,
well,
Goose.
I mean the 2.0 thing they got a tag team over in AEW called 2.0 now.
They're
so
pretty neat.
Maybe that, yeah, they're pretty good. But as far as like the championship goes, Tommaso Ciampa, of course, is completely like 100% like a great champion. Why would you not put the belt on him? Like, he's a really good worker. He's a complete like believable badass. He's like a good promo. There's no reason not to put the belt on him. I do kind of feel like the same qualities he have is the same qualities that like Karrion Kross has and Samoa Joe have, like they're just like badass guys. You know what I'm trying to say? So
I completely agree.
I think it might be nice to see something completely different, somebody that is a little bit more over the top and just like, someone like an LA Knight maybe, where it's just like, over the top heel antics as opposed to like just badassery all the time,
No, I don't disagree. And I think that like a couple people, and Ed in the chat as well, said like, it does seem like NXT and by all of the, damn it, Lauren's throwing off my train of thought in the comments. It does seem like NXT is going in that route where they're going more back to when they were first on the network and had more of those over the top characters. And if Tommaso Ciampa is used as the guy, the very, and I mean this in the most positive way, like badass, killer, psycho, serious dude sometimes. I'd love to see someone like an LA Knight. The other thought that I had is I would really love to see a Tim Thatcher Tommaso Ciampa feud over the title now.
Yeah.
Break the tag team up, go there. I say that firmly as a avowed Tim Thatcher mark. That guy is the man. Whether he wins it or not, I think Tim Thatcher's a stud. I would love to see him feud with Tommaso Ciampa. Want to see him feud with Riddle eventually. Do all of it. Do all of it. Make it happen.
I do really want to see Samoa Joe come back.
Yeah. Everybody.
I don't know what's going on there. Like that seems like a real vague, like, oh, here's the title back. Like you only had one match with it. Like what happened? Like
yeah. It's just a shitty situation. And like I never want to speculate on how
that what happened, or
I don't know. He's just said he's out of commission or he's been pulled from competition or something along those lines for the foreseeable future. Nothing serious, but again, I've got nothing more than that, and all I can say is it sucks because Joe is the man. Zach, in the interest of course, promoting what we've got going on here on Love Wrestling, we're going to take a quick break, as we always do here at about the 20-minute point. I'm going to let you intro and play what you've got coming up on Smart and Friends this week.
Yeah, this week I'm going to be speaking to the creative team, the director and actor, lead actor of an audio adventure podcast called The Luchador, The 1000 Fights of El Fuego Fuerte. Once again, I spoke to the director, Director Dan, and the lead actor, Jeffrey. And what's really cool about this podcast is it's going to be inspired by 1970s Mexican wrestling cinema, so like lots of luchadors and whatnot. And what's pretty cool is they have a bunch of guest stars from the real world of pro wrestling, and I popped for the names that they dropped on the podcast, and I think you're going to pop for them too, so check this out. I want to talk about what's a little tidbit I found on the website for the luchadorpod.com. It hints at guest stars from the real world of pro wrestling. Now, Dan, can I ask who you recorded with, or is this something you want to keep a surprise?
Oh gosh, it's tough. Like so this folks are going to hear this before our episode drops. So for the folks who check this out, we'll spill the beans. We had some really excited voices we were able to record with, and I won't say who appears in which episode, but. For a couple episodes.
That is a winning cast. Oh my goodness. My conversation with Dan and Jeffrey will air Thursday on Smart and Friends at Love Wrestling, right here on Twitch, or unless you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. In that case, go over to Twitch and follow and subscribe. But the case may be 1:00 p.m. Eastern is when the video launches. The podcast will also drop around the same time. And hope you'll join us. It's a great talk. I was really excited about the podcast when I heard the premise. I was so much more excited after this conversation with Jeffrey and Dan. So please check it out.
And what a lineup. I'm especially excited about Redacted.
Yeah, Redacted's going to bring something really dynamic to the table, I think.
I've loved their work for years. I've actually been a fan of Redacted since the Indies. Will we see Chico El Luchador? I am not certain. The names were redacted. Or maybe Juan Cena, which is just very, very funny.
There's a deep cut.
Very, very appreciated, friends. I don't have a topic in mind on my end of things at the very least, so somebody pick one, or I'm going to put you on the spot here sooner rather than later.
How about we talk about Big E as the new world champion?
Alex, that's a very good topic and one that I approve wholeheartedly. I will let you kick it off, and not only will I do that, but I will give you the big screen.
Oh, this is a terrible, terrible idea. This is something long deserved. They've been pushing for Big E to be on the big, in the main events of the shows, and this is definitely his time, I think. So please take me off the big screen. Put me on the spot. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Give us a fun fact about yourself.
I like long walks on the beach, cuddling up next to a fire with a good book, and I enjoy the word spumoni.
All right. All right, those 3 for the price of 1. I will 100.
Hey.
I'll take that every single time.
I'll put it on the floor, man.
Maggie, where the hell is Joseph? That's a very good question, and one that I would love to be able to give you an answer to. However, JPJ is unfortunately just didn't respond when we sent in our Slack chat, hey, who's hopping on Sunday brunch this morning? So I won't fault him. He might be sleeping. He might be working. Might be doing Sunday things. His putzing, as I like to call it, when you're just getting stuff done around the house. Dara, I'm really enjoying you as per usual, but thoroughly today. Well, it's the big screen.
I want to throw in that Dara Amazing kicked our asses last night several times during blowing off stream. Just dominated the Quiplash game multiple times. Well done.
I quite like those Jackbox games. I had never played them before we started doing them on blowing off stream, and unfortunately last night I had an evening of work. Jeremiah, good to see you. Thank you for hopping in. There's 7. There's been 6 now. There's been 9 points. People are just hopping in and out here on Sunday brunch. However, as always, it is an enjoyable time here on Love Wrestling. And if you want to throw your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts about professional wrestling in there for us to discuss, feel encouraged. Maggie, there answers your request earlier for me to sing. Sorry, we were chatting about Big E as your WWE champion. Cody, I did see your comment about Victory Road in there. Personally, I didn't, but if anyone's got thoughts on that, feel free to throw them in there as well. I just don't really have a ton to offer. I don't really even know what the card was last night. I know Heath Slater returned, oddly enough, was the only piece of information I got. Parrish, let's ask you what you think about Big E as the WWE champion. I think that'd be neat.
I'm interested on where that goes because I think he obviously is well deserved of it. Nobody's going to dispute that. They'd be very foolish not to have this lead to a Bloodline versus New Day storyline post-draft. This, I think, is the most money feud they have right now, outside of maybe moving somebody like a Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre over to the SmackDown while bringing a Bloodline over to Raw, so you can actually then have, say, a Lesnar versus Lashley kind of going up there. And then you can also have like maybe a Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre or something along those lines. I think it's very important right now that they use this platform for Big E to establish him as another major draw like they did with Drew McIntyre, like they did with Bobby Lashley, which I thought was a very encouraging thing for WWE. Also, I think it's really cool that for the first time in a long time, we saw the WWE Championship being contested by 2 black men, something that they have never done before, and I think that's a really good test of the times and something that WWE has acknowledged very well in the last year and a half.
Absolutely, man. Hit a lot of good points there. The first one that I admittedly wanted to ask about, and the one that I am going to move to Big Bad Bobby with, like for me, and I think I speak, obviously Parrish just said, but I think I speak for a lot of people in that, you know, the fact that they're going after the New Day versus the Bloodline in at least what'll be the first match and what I'm expecting to be a longer feud on Monday Night Raw tomorrow, is that a bit odd for you? Do you think it's a right move so quickly into a brand new championship run, or what are your thoughts?
I'm not sure if I even have any thoughts on that, really. I haven't paid much attention to it. So, I mean, I'll comment on the Big E thing. First of all, I mean, there's not a lot to add to that whole thing. I mean, he's a great competitor, a lot of good charisma. I'm not sure I like it as much as everybody else just because I really hate the Money in the Bank cash-ins. I think it's overdone. I think it's past the point of interesting. I would rather them build Big E up as an actual star, and then instead of somebody who basically took on a heel character that was essentially injured and got his win in that fashion. I would have rather Big E been built up, put into a main event level match with somebody like Bobby Lashley, beaten him clean, and gotten the babyface pop. I mean, he got the babyface pop, but I think it would have been bigger if they would have built him up as somebody who actually toppled the Almighty.
Yes and no. I think that for me, the fact that he declared, like he straight up said earlier in the day, I'm going to cash in, he's got all of that sort of stuff. I get where you come from on the Money in the Bank contract. I get where you come from, even in the fact that, like, it does work much better as a concept for a heel than it does a babyface. But at the same time, Bobby Lashley still looked good. You know, he's limping a little after a match. He's tired, obviously, but by no means was he like incapable in ways that we've seen other champions who have been cashed in on, if that makes sense. Like,
fair enough. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, if you're going to announce that you're going to catch it in for the actual match and win it clean. None of this like nonsense in between. The guy's hurt. He's already had a match with another star on the roster. Cash it in clean and give us the match one-on-one from the start. That's what the Money in the Bank should be. The Money in the Bank should be a guaranteed title match for the person who declares it at a show. None of the BS that goes on with this whole the champion's down, I'm going to go pin him or anything like that to become the champion. Build the stars. Build the stars by making them actually earn these championships.
Yep, and I think you're bang on. Like, I agree with the point that it's a much better concept from a heel perspective, and that like the anytime, any place, anywhere works so well. Like, there have been so many great moments that have come out of like Randy Orton with Daniel Bryan was a fantastic example that comes to mind. Like, you can use it. I just think that you hit the nail on the head in that it skews more in one direction than the other. Astrid, I'll move to you and ask you next because I haven't picked on you in a little bit.
No, I'm really happy for him being champion. I like when they take a little bit of time with the Money in the Bank. I don't like those immediate cash-ins right away, especially the same night. But I'm glad it's been him of all people, and I'm glad he didn't have to change who he is to win that title either.
Great point. Absolutely great point. Goose, I'll move to you. What are your thoughts on Big E? What are your thoughts on maybe New Day Bloodline? Anything along those lines of things?
You see, Big E, that's like the perfect guy I was talking about earlier that I think would be a fantastic like NXT champion, right? Like it's a completely different, you know, like it's like now for something completely different. You know what I mean? Like
over the top.
Big E can
like
go. He's really great, but he's also like he's just bursting with like charisma, and he's out there having a good time, and you know, like he's awesome, and I'm very happy for him to get that opportunity to be the champion because, like, you know, like there's a lot of times where you look back and you're like, okay, who's gonna be a future champion? And you know, I'm not sure Big E would have been the first person to come to mind.
Completely fair, man. Like they've done. I shouldn't even say they've specifically, like he's done an incredible job over the last 2 years of really going to that next level. The guy, like you said, was never a guy who couldn't go, who didn't have charisma, anything like that. But like, it says a lot that right now in a career of great moments and high level performance is a weird way to put it, but it's the way I'm going to go with it. Like the guy's on the run of his life. The guy's on the run of his life. I couldn't be more happy. Maybe. You know, and I'm trying to find the comment right now. Jeremiah makes a good point, and one that I think Bobby agrees with as well. It was great how it happened, but would have rather had Big E win the Rumble and face someone at Mania or something along those lines. Yeah, I think that that's definitely a better option, but I'm certainly not going to be upset in any way that we get Big E. I shouldn't say any way, but most ways that we would get Big E as a WWE champion. Here's a good one, and I'll go to Alex first because I haven't picked his brain in the last little bit. Cody with the comment, do you expect the Big E reign to be done right and more memorable than Kofi's reign?
I think, see, it's going to be a little bit difficult here because Kofi's reign was definitely something special. You know, he was brought up in the Elimination Chamber, and, you know, we had that entire period where we saw them build this until WrestleMania, and then it was a great moment at WrestleMania for him to win the title. His reign after that is kind of bland. Like he had matches against Orton, Ziggler, up until, you know, he had the match with Brock Lesnar. I mean, you don't really have anything of a note. And then he lost the title within seconds of the match with Brock Lesnar. I think with Big E though, he'll have a little bit more longevity. Just because when you're looking at him, he is a bigger guy. He can hold his own a little bit longer within a match. And we may see, I hope to see it go a little bit longer than Kofi's, and I hope to see a little bit more better quality of matches and caliber of matches.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I'm excited to see where it goes from here, especially with the draft coming up, because I don't see It's hard to pick his first real challenger. You know, I don't obviously think it'll be Roman Reigns simply on the fact that they're likely, if not guaranteed, to be on different brands as champions. I can't see any way that you would get them both on the same. So I don't know. Maybe that's something we chat about over the next little bit. But I do like this, Cody. It's going to be unfortunate. I think that this match is going to happen in Saudi Arabia, and it's going to break my heart. Because Big E versus Goldberg. So you talk about great moments and you talk about moments that would have worked for a babyface cash in here. I'll throw a scenario that I pitched for a while. I wanted Big E to cash in on Goldberg at SummerSlam. I wanted Big Bad Goldberg to beat Big Bad Bobby, and then biggest, baddest Big E comes in and just slaps the taste out of Bill. That's what I would have hoped for. That's what I really would have hoped for. And Jeremiah, a great shout and an excellent opportunity for me to plug that you can catch Between Two Beards every Thursday here on Love Wrestling. On days we don't have Quizplex, that takes place at 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 Mountain. Or on days that we do, you can catch them at a special start time of 8 p.m. Eastern. Quizplex, I think, is next week. Is that?
Yeah,
am I wrong?
yeah. Next week would be the last Thursday of the month, so that's when we should run the next one, which is going to be a Champions Edition. So Ed will be back.
Yes, it is.
So we got to
reach out to Scott on that.
Yeah, we got to reach out to our former champs and get our Quizplex on next Thursday.
Big shout, by the way, to. I think you're going to be on the
I'm already a champion of champions, right? Like
you're a double champ. So I think what we're essentially building towards is in December a champion of champions match.
Okay, sounds good. I'll win
That's confidence. I'm going to save. Can somebody with more technological knowledge than I clip that? I would like to send that to everyone I know. Goose calling his shot early. Yeah, big shout, by the way, to Speedball Mike Bailey, beating Daniel Garcia last night at C4 in what was a hell of a matchup. I don't think I need to tell anybody that, given the two names involved. But big shout to Speedball Bailey. Big shout to Veda Scott. Two excellent individuals. If they might be streaming later on near the end of this stream. So if they are, we're going to raid them. If they're not, then it'd be pretty silly to raid them. I just don't really have a better way to put it. Jeremiah hopping in there as well. More excited for Pluggo's draft. And responding to that, Cody also highlighting what we've got coming up here on Love Wrestling. Parrish, Astrid, and Ed are on the Wrestle Draft. Much more exciting than JPJ and Pluggo's draft. We got lots of drafts here on Love Wrestling in the next little bit, but we've also got some wrestling banter for the next little bit until we play a clip in about 3 minutes. I'm going to do one from Johnny Devine talking about Josh Alexander. Maybe that's a good way we can go after break is, of course, Josh Alexander, the other piece from Victory Road last night, exercising option C. He is going to be relinquishing the X Division Championship and moving on to the heavyweight division, challenging Christian Cage at Bound for Glory. So you know what? I said I was going to play the clip in a minute, but I'm going to play the clip now. Damn it, because it will allow us to transition and admittedly allow me to grab my computer charger so that I can continue hosting this show. See you in a sec. Absolutely, man. Now, of course, if we're talking about great Canadian professional wrestlers, whether it's Owen, Davey, Brett, or the individual I'm about to bring up, you've got to throw Josh Alexander in that conversation at this point, right? So, number one, obviously, talk about your relationship with him because you coined the phrase, but he has lived the phrase as well of Canadian strong style. But just the impact he's making on Canadian wrestling now.
Well, and he is the exact prime example of what Canadian strong style is all about, because legitimately, when you can do everything, you can work with anyone and make it believable and make it interesting and make it something that suspends even for a moment your disbelief at least once or twice in a match, where you're just like, oh my God, like, oh, what's going on?
How the hell did he do that?
You know, like, come on, seriously? Are you kidding me? These are things I hear regularly, which that's the point, right? That is the exact desired effect of what we work for, what we train for. Like, you know, Bruce Lee said it best, you know, fear not the man who knows 1,000 kicks, fear the man who knows one kick and practices it 10,000 times a day. Josh Alexander is to a master's level. Like if you thought in terms of education, he is now at a master's level education in the professional wrestling side of wrestling. And like, there isn't a human alive that he can't pull probably one of the best matches you've ever seen out of. And that is a testament to Josh pulling gold out of anyone.
Right. That guy could wrestle a 2x4 and I would definitely pay for it on pay-per-view if they gave her the
100%.
proper promotion to throw a lot of peas in one sentence. There were a lot of peas in that one sentence. The other shout that I wanted to make is, damn, my hair looked good then. I shouldn't have cut it. I'm very frustrated by it. Maggie Weiler, all Canadians hot. That one I really can't speak to. I would have to assume it has to do with the water flowing from Niagara through the North Saskatchewan River, yada yada. I don't know. I'm bullshitting at this point. I got no other way to put it.
Maple syrup.
There you go. That's exactly it. The maple syrup and all that sort of stuff.
Hey, wait a second. I've been eating maple syrup for a long time, and I'm still ugly. So what the hell?
Good luck. Hey,
you don't eat it. You gotta bathe with it. You gotta know the maple syrup.
Yeah.
Plus, what you guys have in the States isn't real maple syrup.
It's a maple syrup.
True, actually. Yeah, maple syrup from Canadian maple trees actually is a exfoliant. Damn it, Goose. WWE needs to go back to the 2002 style of draft. Yes, if only for someone to recreate The Undertaker, like absolutely flipping out about getting drafted to SmackDown. I loved those when they had them all sitting in the room. They tried to do it even with NXT, if I remember correctly, in the 2016 draft, the one Rollins went first overall in, where they had all the NXT talent in and they showed their live reaction. I love stuff like that. I think that, it's definitely different when you're talking about WWE because in a lot of positive ways, I will also stress they do sports entertainment. But one of my favorite things about sports is the draft and the transactions around it and, who's going where and who's rising and falling, all of that traditional stuff that comes with it. I love that being played up in the WWE sense. I agree that they should go back to more of that style of a draft. But that's neither here nor there. Hopping in as well, Cody, and this is one that I will throw to everybody because, of course, with Victory Road and with Josh Alexander and with everything happening with Option C, is the walking weapon the guy to beat Christian Cage? Goose, I'll move to you first.
I mean, quite possibly. Josh Alexander is fantastic. Fans in Calgary and Edmonton should know this. He's been there recently, and he's put on some awesome performances. So, there's no reason why he couldn't defeat Christian. I mean, Christian just became the champion, so maybe for him to lose his first Impact title defense may not be the best situation. So, but Josh Alexander is no slouch, so it's going to be a hell of a match.
Josh Alexander's the man. I have no other way to put it other than what I said in that interview. The guy could wrestle anything, anywhere, a 2x4.
Honestly, there was a lot of the audio isn't working on any of the clips for me today. I don't know why. I don't know if that's happening for other people too. I hope it's not. But yeah,
if it's happening for anyone else, please let us know in the comments section. Otherwise, Goose, lots of love to you. I'm going to blame you so that I can shift it off of me.
Yeah, sorry, I probably.
No worries. I'm just trying to shift blame. It's a tradition here. Bobby, your thoughts? Sounds good, brother.
You know what? Honestly, I got nothing more to add. Goose said it perfectly right there and everything like that. I don't think it needs to be a right away thing, but he definitely is a guy that could easily be the guy to beat Christian, and I don't think anybody anywhere will complain about it.
Is there anybody who would disagree then, maybe is a better question to generally throw to the floor there? Is Christian Cage going to soundly defeat Josh Alexander and move on to his next challenger?
I honestly thought this would have been done better if Kenny Omega was the one who dropped the title to Josh Alexander. Nothing against Christian Cage. Nothing against Christian Cage, but it just makes him look like a transitional champion. And I think that doesn't help the talent at all. And I think Kenny Omega's stature right now is better suited to put over a talent like a Josh Alexander, and it would have made him look a lot more bigger in the perception of the audience, because the perception of star power is bigger with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can even like see that as a shot at this point. Is being called a less of a star, quote unquote, is the best way I can put it, than Kenny Omega right now is pretty okay. You know,
no, it's a sense of.
So you're like 95% of everyone else in the world. Like,
it's exactly it. It's like saying you're less of a movie star right now than The Rock. It's like, okay, you're still probably doing okay.
It's clearly a bigger impact if you're beating, say, like a Hulk Hogan back in the day for the world's heavyweight title, instead of, say, like a Brutus Beefcake. And I'm not saying there's anybody like that. I'm just saying when you have a guy who's at the peak of his career, like Kenny Omega is right now, he's at the top of the line. He's voted the #1 in PWI Top 500. If you're able to beat him for it, it's just more of a monumental achievement in the world of professional wrestling. And that, nothing against Christian. He is one of the best all time. But Kenny Omega is just that much better right now, Adam. So it would have done more for Josh Alexander is what I'm trying to say.
To sidetrack a little bit here, who saw them pulling the trigger on Omega versus Danielson this early and doing so well with it? I think in a very short time with it, they've done so damn well into making this like a blood feud almost, not just like a who's the better pro wrestler that it started out as, but like they seem to hate each other, which is great. I love it. Alex, I'll go to you first because you put your hand up.
So are we still going with the expectation that Danielson versus Omega, or are we?
You know what, Alex? Dealer's choice. You make the call here.
You know, I'm actually going to post an inquiry to everybody, if I may. So we have the option C, yes. Why do we not compare that to the Money in the Bank? Who here likes option C as opposed to Money in the Bank? Because I feel like it's kind of, in the same vein. Like, how can you like? Go ahead, Zach.
Sorry, yeah, I see what you're saying. Pardon me, I didn't mean to jump on you. It's just a matter of delay in the soundboard or whatnot. But yeah, like I get what you're saying, but it's not like Josh Alexander came out while Christian is just like caught by surprise. Like they're setting up the match. He declared that he's doing this, and we're gonna go on and have that fight. It's a lot like Lucha Underground. They had the Gift of the Gods Championship, and Dario Cuerto, when he introduced the concept, like once you hold this belt, you can cash in for an opportunity, but you can't just do it out of the blue. You have to announce it, and we're going to do this. I'm a promoter, after all. I want to make money on your fight.
Right.
So I see the same thing with like I don't see Money in the Bank and Option C as close as maybe you do.
Okay, well, I mean, I just
another just quick interjection here. Much like Hero, we will always pop for Lucha Underground.
Oh, hold on here. That's now Azteca Underground, and it's now Cesar Duran, not Dario.
Yes, but they are to this point, in my opinion, considered two separate entities. There's more to figure out.
Doing a podcast.
Alex.
Well, I mean, so like I heard Bobby talk about this earlier, how you don't really build up anybody before having them cash in, and I kind of disagree with that. You had Edge be built up, you had the Miz be built up a little bit before they cashed in. I just feel if it's done right, it can be a good thing. This is my opinion.
Yeah, great shout, Dara hopping in as well. Chris Sabin also did Option C, but he barely held the world title. Option C is rarely used at this point. Austin Aries is the only person to ever really do it successfully, marking one of the only things Austin Aries has ever done successfully, because he certainly hasn't been a good person. Moving on.
Astrid, we haven't heard from you for a while. What do you think about? What's your opinion?
That was not what I expected. Really wasn't what I expected to be the next sentence to come out after that one. Sorry, Astrid, to you. We're gonna move on from that short nerd.
But if it's concerning Option C, I'm all for it. If it's like Josh and Christian, I definitely want Josh to win this. I think it will be great for him to have the world title at this point with the way he's been going with the X division so far.
Sorry, I'm thrown off a little bit. Way to go, Zach.
Sorry.
little vitriol towards old Austin Aries, hey? Former cruiserweight
he's a
championship contender.
He's a twit, man. This is Love Wrestling. I'm not going to elaborate on why I don't like that guy, but, let's just leave it at that.
We will move on from that one into another topic, because I do want to talk a little bit more about Danielson Omega, because Alex Spencer. And yes, Love Wrestling Elite champion Chris Parrish.
Well, thank you for that. But you like fun facts, right?
I am a big fun fact sort of guy.
So we were just talking about the Money in the Bank. The last man to cash in the Money in the Bank, Big E, became the 33rd man to achieve the Triple Crown status in WWE.
Excellently done on Biggest E's part. I want him to be Big E Langston again at some point, but that's neither here nor there. Jeremiah hopping in, I would believe, about Kenny Omega here. I want a world champ who hasn't exposed the business by wrestling a child. I would argue that there are a lot of individuals who have done a lot of dumb things in pro wrestling, and we all know what it is at this point. Like exposing the business. Like if we're going to talk about exposing the business, Ric Flair shouldn't have written a book 20 years ago.
Yeah, there's no one who exposed more than Ric Flair.
Oh, that is the only comment we're going to make on that end. It's funny and towed the line of tasteful and poor. We're going to move on from there into
I'm going to applaud
Omega.
Parrish for walking that line very finely. Well done.
That was a very well done walking of the line. Much like the 2005 hit film, that walked the line. Someone else take the microphone from me right now. Someone else.
One thing I want to say, if anybody did watch SmackDown, we finally saw Naomi somewhat get involved, which is about damn time. This girl has been absolutely ignored for too long, and the fact that she is with Sonya and there's a confrontation, I want to see this match. This reminds me a lot of like a Brie Bella, Stephanie McMahon kind of a thing, but it's better because the talent are better. So I really want to see this match. Very much, and it's really nice to see Naomi back because, man, it's too, like that. And they included Liv Morgan on Extreme Rules against Carmella. I mean, finally, WWE is making a little bit of acknowledgement that, oh yeah, we got women on SmackDown. Let's use them. About damn time, Vince. About damn time.
Give me a little bit more Tony Storm, and I will be at least a little bit more satisfied.
Who is wrestling against Zelina Vega next week on SmackDown?
Excellent. Because I admittedly haven't watched. I only read a recap of it. So I wanted to ask on that. And then I wanted to ask as well, what happened really with the Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair segment? Because, wasn't Bianca in her hometown getting a key or some shit?
Yeah, Kane gave her the key to the city. And then Becky's like, oh, I've never been a part of a homecoming. She came down and whatnot. And then, girls, exchanging words, and then Bianca tried to get one up, and then she gave the back bottom. Yes, I'm calling it the back bottom because, and then kind of that's how the show ended.
Beckham? No, that sounds like
the man bottom. How about man bottom? Or the man down.
You're
the
doing
one, the
well.
man down is also pretty funny.
I appreciated the man down was okay. I liked the first two.
Back bottom was better.
More. But that's so weird for me. I don't understand this whole concept of wrestlers looking crappy in their hometowns.
Mm-hmm.
Sympathy, bro. That's what Vince thinks. It's not smart, but it's what he does.
All of it's very, very silly to me. But what can you do? What can you do? Anybody else have any topics? We got about 5 minutes left. We've sort of went across the board in the last few minutes here. So if anybody's got anything they want to throw out in the next little bit here, I'm happy to chat pro wrestling. Bobby, I know you brought up in the pre-chat a little bit on the MLW end. What's going on in Major League Wrestling?
So a lot of news coming out of there. Of course, they've got the October 2nd Fightland card coming up here. But it was just announced that Vice TV is actually going to air a 1 hour of the actual Fightland card on their programming on October 7th, 10 p.m. Eastern. So you will get the Jacob Fatu Hammerstone matchup. Likely this is you're going to see the Nicole Savoy and Holidead matchup on that one as well too. And also
the show, Nicole Savoy.
That's right. And also the 2021 Opera Cup will be taking place. So I believe the quarterfinals and semifinals are set to take place at Fightland. So there's a lot of big names coming out of there. Alex Shelley, Bobby Fish, Lee Moriarty, Davey Richards, who are all new to the card. Tom Lawler, TJP, Matt Cross, and Calvin Tankman, already part of MLW, taking place there. And then the middleweight championship match, Myron Reed's going to be defending against the Japanese Buzzsaw, Tajiri, as well as Aries and Aramis, who are acting on part of Azteca Underground. So Cesar Duran's Azteca Underground going to be taking place there, trying to dethrone Myron Reed as the champion. Going to be awesome. Anyone who doesn't watch MLW needs to tune into this card. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, frankly, at this point, you're just missing out. And I should also correct there. Earlier, I said friend of the show, Nicole Savoy, and that, of course, stands. But Holidead, also a friend of the show, Smark and Friends, which we have referenced often because, damn, that guy is great, that Zach Ralph. He had Holidead on the show. What was it, October? Part of your Halloween content?
Yeah, when we went, we did our Halloween month of Halloween specials, and that included an interview with Holidead way back when.
'Twas excellent. And Smark and Friends is always excellent. We've got a lot of excellent stuff here. I say that selfishly, but I think pretty honestly as far as Love Wrestling goes. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at what we got coming your way this week? Starting tonight, we've got the Legacy of Edge. That comes your way courtesy of Josh Robinson, a terrific individual and a terrific content creator. We've also got a match announcement coming for Change the Game tomorrow. Of course, that is the first wrestling show that we are going to be co-presenting on our end of things, so stay tuned for that. Give a follow to Force Pro Wrestling on social media as well. Like we said, we are co-promoting, and they're doing a great job in helping us out there. Tuesday, we've got NXT. Great punmanship, us here at Love Wrestling. Coming your way, chatting all things, of course, NXT. Thursday, we've got Between Two Beards, and then, of course, the Luchador podcast on Smark and Friends here as well on Twitch, if that's where you're tuned in. Blowing off stream this Saturday, we're hoping to have a number of the professional wrestlers of the Change the Game show on the show. Then on Sunday, I'm trying to read the angle sideways here. Sunday, we've got the Weekend Elite Report, chatting all things AEW. That's Dark, Rampage, Dynamite, everything in between. And then I am back to challenge.
And we cut off mid promo, right in the middle of the heat.
Continue
right there.
I don't know. I don't have a horse in that, a dog in that fight, man. That's your beef with Spenny over the title.
Well, I mean, it's not a beef when you're already eating all the food, so it doesn't matter. He has no beef because I don't give him any. But what we do have also coming up this Saturday is the Wrestle Draft that's going to be in place of the Reacts with Astrid, with myself, with Ed, and hosted by Ecto Guy 87 over there in the middle. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the draft?
Yeah, let's talk about it. It's going to be... We're going to be, doing a little fantasy draft for the NXT, SmackDown, and Raw brands, just to see what these three fine young people of Love Wrestling think is going to happen in the future. And maybe we'll see some predictions come to fruition, and maybe we'll just have a little fun.
Good. And I think, are we kind of at that point now where we're kind of hitting that hour mark? Or... I mean, Spencer's just very apologetic, but I mean, it is what it is.
58:32.
I'm going to say Lawrence's internet cut off Spencer because Lawrence has probably some of the worst internet in Love Wrestling, so we'll go with that.
Oh, no, he's singling me out. I'm next, apparently.
Well, I mean, now he's just a hater. But yeah, Goose, what do you have coming on this week?
Nothing. I'm on vacation. I'm out in BC. And I'm just, visiting family, trying to find my peace, because when I get back to Edmonton, I'm going to be looking to come to war.
All right. Stay ahead. Goose, I can't wait to see you go to war because I know a nasty one is in store for that. Bobby, what do you have coming on?
Well, actually, just yesterday, I believe, Pop Smokes and I dropped our new episode of Ring Respect Radio on YouTube at the Video Bros Network. We were talking about women's wrestling, Ring of Honor, MLW, and of course NWA as well over there. So that was a great show to be a part of. We also got back to some Prairie Pro Wrestling training yesterday, and before very long, hopefully Prairie Pro Wrestling will be back in action. So some great Canadian wrestling action, and you can go check out any of the backlog of our matches on YouTube right now.
I'll now move to Astrid because you just got a nice little plug there on the internet there showcasing your good work. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for Latinx Heritage Month, I got highlighted by Penguin Team, which is one of the big publishers I work with. So it's really nice that they highlighted me as the first round of picks. Aside from that, I'll be... Oh, thank you. Aside from that, on Tuesdays, I'll be spilling the tea on NXT with Ed as well and Cody. So I'm really excited about all that stuff coming up with the NXT 2.0 that Ed doesn't want to say.
And Zach, I'll leave it off with you where you can then plug where we can find you, and I'll go around the horse on that before we end it out.
Yeah, of course, Smark and Friends, as mentioned, coming on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. No Power Out this week because, from what I understand, NWA is just doing Power Surge, and we don't really we try not to cover that since it's mostly a recap show. Follow me on social media on Twitter at SmarkMouth, and you can also follow the Smark and Friends podcast at Smark and Friends.
All right, Goose, where can we find you? And I'll try to.
Well, I'm at Canadian Goose KS on the Twitter. I'm Kyle Shaw on Facebook, and I am I can't remember what my Instagram name is right now. I'll be honest with you. It's like,
I got my phone. I'll look it up.
If you search for Canadian Goose, you'll find me. Also, Pro Wrestling Tees, do a search for Canadian Goose on there. I've got two shirts available. The one I'm wearing right now, which was actually designed by like a professional comic book artist. And then I have another one on there that was designed by my good friend Cameron Stevens, and they're both top quality shirts. Is that the link to my shirts? Awesome!
It is.
I'm glad that's still in the archive there, because I feel bad that I haven't been on here in a little while. I've been super busy, and then I got knocked upside the head, so I was not feeling very up to it.
At the.canadian.goose is your Twitter or Instagram. Sorry,
Instagram.
That is. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got some good pictures on there.
Bobby, where can we find you on the socials?
I don't know. I'm kind of like.
I at least had two of my.
Do I even know how to use a computer? I'm not too sure, but yeah, no, I'm on there somewhere. Probably can find me.
You could search me in the local Regina phone book.
I think this one would be Saskatoon, but
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Alex, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Twitter at EctoGuy87, on the Twitch at the same at EctoGuy87. Right now, I have a poll up. I am playing games on Wednesday on my Twitter, on my Twitch at 7 p.m. I have a poll right now on my Twitter if you want to go check that out. If you love watching video games and you want to support a small streamer like myself, check me out. I can use all the support I could get.
Astrid, the first lady of Love Wrestling, where can we find you?
I don't think I'm officially the first lady, but I'll take it for now.
You are now.
Did she have to marry the president to be the first lady?
No.
No, I don't need to. I can do it by myself.
There you
go. No, when I'm out here, you can find me on Twitter at Astrid Pizarro. I'm usually talking like wrestling and my book stuff all the time in there, so you can follow me there.
Awesome. And for everyone, we just want to make sure that you go check out RK Athletics 1 and follow RK Athletics, a great sponsor of Love Wrestling. And yeah, and for me, you can definitely follow me on all the socials. Chris Parrish on the Twitter at the Chris Parrish on the Twitch, and Chris.Parrish on Instagram. Do we have anything else before we want to head out? Zach, you're the smart one here.
Well, we should also thank everyone who kind of joined us. We had a bit of a revolving door. I'm sure Spencer would love you to follow him on Twitter at Spending Love, and of course the Wordsmith at Poetry of a Probo. Cartier NDG, that's our friend Lawrence, who's been just giving us a hard time from the chat room all night. But all the same, certainly a good person to follow on ye old social media.
Yes, and also make sure you check out the Wordsmith and his new show too. That is absolutely heavy, but absolutely just inspirating stuff. Thank you so much for taking the strength and the courage to talk about that stuff, because it's not the easiest thing. So we definitely appreciate you, Wordsmith, for jumping on and talking about that. For the love of pro wrestling, this is the crew. We want to thank everyone for coming in, and we wish you adieu.